Hello again. Gigahertz here, doing another Delicate Hand series. This one is going to be on user interfaces, and since it's the first one, I thought I would talk about the very beginning, which is going to be the Blizzard user interface. One disclaimer, this is going to be one of the very few add-ons that I show you where I discuss what to do, but really more from the idea of how I do things. So for the most part, my add-on UIs are going to be more focused on how you could maybe do something or do something different or whatever, what have you, back and forth. But in this situation, I'm going to just tell you what I do and why I do it. So for the most part, the decisions that I make are focused on trying to immerse myself deeper into the actual game. So things like those little names above people's random heads and stuff like that, those are going to disappear. The display is going to kind of change the way objectives work, nameplates, stuff like that, how the camera functions. That's what I'm going to show you, is how to make the game a little less like where there's more information than you need. We're still going to try to focus on making the UI give you information that you need when you need it, but until that time, there's really no reason to have this. So let's go. Hit escape, interface, and the first thing we're going to talk about is, this doesn't really matter. Just change that real quick. All right, so objectives. You can have this, doesn't really matter either way. I don't like automatic quest tracking because I found that when I had automatic quest tracking on, I stopped looking at the quest book. So once I stopped looking at the quest book, I started missing out on like storyline and stuff like that. So because of that, I decided to turn off automatic quest tracking because I used to just be like, okay, get the quest, and I look up here, what do I have to do, and then I turn on my map and be like, okay, I got to go over here now and kill these things and blah blah blah, and it was mindless, and I really got bored with the game, and I was like, wait a minute, like why did I used to have fun and now I don't have fun? Oh, it's because I'm not reading all these crazy little stupid things that like Blizzard puts in there for my enjoyment. So automatic quest tracking, I don't need it. That's fine. I don't really need it. The next thing I always change is names. I turn off all friendly things. I don't really need to see them. And for enemy players, I only turn on the players. I don't need the pets, the guardians, the totems, because it distracts me from what I really need to see, which is like I need to see the enemy like player who's running around doing stuff. I also turn off all NPC names. I just like having them off because when I walk around now, instead of all those names that you saw earlier, we end up seeing this nice little world where it's really like a world. Like there's like, oh, this what's this guy? Let me click on him. Oh, what's going on over here? And is this a real person? No, that's it's actually something going on. Like this is a risen recruit, like doing something. So that's kind of cool. And this person's wandering around doing stuff, and if I click on them, I see their name. But until then, like I don't have to. Like they're just wandering around doing cool things. Like I can click on them and be like, hey, how's it going? Slash wave. Like what's up? So yeah, back to the interface. So enemy players, I want to see enemy players though, because if there's a bad guy in the area, I want to know that that is happening. For unit nameplates, that's when you actually have like their nameplates up. I'll show like enemy units, and now you see like this mindless zombie has shown up. Now I turn it off, on, off. That's the way that works in friendly units. Their nameplates, so I can turn them up and off. So where these are important is if I'm a healer, I like seeing my friendly units for the most part. I'll also show all of them in some cases, but for the most part, I'm going to just care about the friendly ones. And I only really care about the friendly units, not their other stuff, okay? And then for enemy units, if I'm playing DPS for PvP or something like that, I don't care about the guardians, the pets, the totems. I just want to see the bad guys then, like the units. And I always like seeing their class color in the nameplates. That's so if somebody calls out, kill the pally, or something like that, instead of having to click around trying to find the paladin, going through a bunch of bars that look exactly the same, you can just go to the pink one and kill the paladin. Or if they call out purple, it's a warlock. So as soon as you learn the actual colors that go along with the class, it makes it a lot easier when someone calls a target. So that's really, really good. And another way to get those colors with the class in your mind is to go to raid profiles. And this is something that I think is amazing that Blizzard put in. I always used to use like Grid and Voodoo and like those kind of things to like change the way the actual um, like player setup, like the when you're actually in a party, like how that looked. So Blizzard actually made one that they could use inside of the game, and it's actually standalone, probably everything you really need. So when I do it, always use the raid style party frames for everything. If I have one person joining my party, it ends up being a little brick instead of like the actual icon with their health bar and their power bar and then like that kind of stuff. So it's really cool. I always make it wider because when it's wide, it shows like a deeper gradient of what's going on. So if they start losing health, since it's a wider interface, like it shows up better. Power bars I don't show on my DPS, but I do show it if I'm playing a tank and I care about my healer's mana or something, which has over time become not a real problem anymore. It seems like healers don't really go anymore. I also like to see incoming heals, from any perspective. This is the thing I was talking about: display class colors. So now in your user interface, when you're in a party, you'll actually see the class color of the class that's currently playing in your party. And so when you click on it, you're like, oh, is this an orange one? What's the orange one? Oh, it's a druid. Okay, cool. Like that's what druid is. So that way later on when you're fighting in PvP and you see, a nameplate and over top of that bad guy it's an orange health bar, you're like, oh, that's a bad druid and I have to kill him because that's what everyone's saying. Kill the healing druid. So yeah, cool stuff. And then I always take off the borders because I think, like, why have them? Like, the actual bar itself is very clean looking. So when you take off the border, it looks really nice. And always show debuffs. When I'm playing as a DPS, I only do the dispellable ones because those are the only ones I can do anything about. And since I'm not healing, I don't have to care about extra debuffs that are on the target. So that's always useful. Now, if you're a healer, you might want to see all the debuffs because even ones that you can't dispel are now on that target, and maybe they're going to take damage or something. So that's something. And the last thing I change is the camera. I like following the terrain, so it moves up and down. And then when I want the camera follow style, some people have it always adjust, which means like anytime you move it like this, it would go like back. I kind of like being able to pivot around myself and sort of free look without actually turning myself. So I have it only do it when moving and only horizontal because if I'm trying to take like a different look of like the world, I want it to hold that look and then follow the terrain as that look continues. So like as I go down this hill, the camera is going to like kind of move. Like it's really cool. So that's kind of neat. So yeah, so that is what I do for the Blizzard user interface, and it's not something that you have to do, but I find that it's really quite nice. Like I can now wander around in the world, and if I want to, I can turn the nameplates on to see like bad guys or whatever, or I can turn them off, and I can just immerse myself in gameplay, which is really the goal for World of Warcraft, is to kind of get away from working in the office and like that kind of stuff, and just go wander around like killing things. So yeah, that's what I do. And also one more thing that I just realized I do, and that is in the display. Or is it in? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Social chat bubbles. All right. So I don't have chat bubbles on. I think I don't do it because once again, like it takes away like from the actual gameplay. So when something happens and somebody talks, I would much rather have it in like the feed, and that's how I do that. So yeah, this is the user interface that we're going to be kind of springboarding off, and we're going to be adding things to it as time progresses. So that was it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to know anything more about the Blizzard user interface, you got a question about something, how something works, or how you can install it from like just the standard Blizzard user interface, please tell me, and I will try to take care of that. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I will see you again soon.